Treasury Bill rates have dropped again for the week starting 24 February 2025. So last week, when Bank of Ghana went for the auction with the banks, the rate dropped again from what we had last week around 25 to now about 23 and 24 for the discounted rate and the interest rate. And what's interesting is that over 21 billion requests that were put forth, government accepted just around 9 billion during the period. So let's look at the rate that came in for the week starting 24th February 2025. So for the 91 days, currently for the discounted rate, we have 23.0670. That's the weighted average rate for the discounted rate. And then for the interest rate is 24.4786. 24.4786. For the 182 days or 6 months, the average rate that banks got was 22.5278. 22.5278. And then the interest rate is 25.3874. 25.3874. For 1 year, the rate that most banks are going to give within this week, the average rate is 21.4452 for the discounted rate, and then 27.2996 for the interest rate. Now, let me explain a few things here. Whenever there's an auction for treasury bills, banks bring their requests, including other finance houses, to come and buy the treasury bills. Now, government for every week has its own target of how much they want to buy. So let's look at some of the requests that these banks and financial institutions presented for last week's auction and what government actually bought. So, for example, if you pick 91 days or 3 months, the total request that banks brought for the auction for government to accept was 7.3 billion. 7.3 billion. Government accepted just 4.233 billion. So out of the 7.3, government accepted 4.2. It means that government bought just 4.2 billion 91-day treasury bill at the last auction. For the 182 days or 6 months, the request that banks and other institutions brought to buy was 5 billion. Government accepted 1.4 billion out of the 5 billion. And then for 1 year, the request from institutions was 8.1 billion. Government accepted 3.96 billion. So it means that for all the durations, government did not accept all the requests that banks brought. It means that government accepted some, and some of them government just had to take just a portion of that. And that explains the reason why the rates have dropped, because now people want more of treasury bills, but government does not want to buy all because of its own planning. So it means that government has the power to reduce the rate within this period. So if you have an investment form filled with your bank, it means that if your bank went for the auction last week, they will not be able to get all the treasury bill that they wanted to buy. So perhaps yours will be part of the next batch, and that explains the reason why sometimes your investment delays. So for the rate again, let me go by it. For the 91 days, it's now 23 for the discounted and 24 for the interest rate. For the 182 days or 6 months, it's now 22 for the discounted rate and then 25 for the interest rate. And for 1 year or 364 days, the discounted rate is now 21%. And then for the interest rate is 27%. So that's the latest treasury bill update that you see across the various banks. So if you go to your bank, this is the average rate that you should be expecting to get on your treasury bill if it's being booked with this week's rate.